It is July 13th, 2020. We're here on the rooftop of the property at 1230 Turquoise Street in San Diego, California, 92109. We do have some cleanouts on the side of the property. We're here at the front bathroom to the house, but it is a small 2-inch cleanout access on the side, which would be more like an 1.5-inch opening. And we do like to check the vents on properties in case they're getting deteriorated or flaking apart. So we're here over the 2-inch vent for the front bathroom to the house. We do have a clean out box on the backyard, so we do know that the line runs to the alleyway. So this essentially is the very beginning of the sewer main. Toilet dumping into the system right there. Here's our transition from the vertical vent into the 3-inch cast iron sewer main. It's all original to the house. I believe this house is on slab. So you can see right here the cast iron looks in great condition for the age. Very little scale or buildup of deposits on the walls of the pipe. The unit somewhat vacant. We did go ahead and flush the couple toilets when we first arrived here. We want to put water in the line in case there's any sags or bellies to the line, which are pockets or areas that hold water and don't drain out properly. Not finding anything so far. So the other bathroom is in line farther at the back of the house, straight in line with this one. We do have our laundry and kitchen offset to the right a little bit. They dump into the system. We will attempt to go through the laundry line, but the kitchen pipes typically, we don't try to put the cameras through there because they're usually full of so much debris. They can lead to stoppages and things like that. So as long as the line is functional and draining on the kitchen, we don't attempt that one, especially with all the turns and twists from the access points. That's our vertical drop in right there. I believe that's the other bathroom probably, because we're about 30 feet away from that bathroom, so it'd make about sense. Here's a T-junction right here on the left side. Got a little bit of standing water right here, as you can see, and that's just due to sometimes the cast iron, a little bit of mounding or buildup that occurs on there. A little slight turn on the line. Again, a couple little mounds here and there holding some of that water, but nothing really severe. Pipe is nice and intact still, in good condition overall. Another little mound holding some water. Okay, and here we have our little clean out that's in the backyard. Now, from the box and from the way this pipe is set up, when we lifted the lid off, we can actually see as we go across this, our pipe camera kind of drops down into a weird angle there. It actually looks like this was set up as what's called a backwater valve. So when something has a check valve that stops the flow of direction to only allow in one pathway, for a sewer line, it's actually called a backwater valve. And on a backwater valve, there's usually a little swivel or a swing plastic rubber gate, so that it, again, if anything backs up past that, it can't flood back into the home from the city or any other properties farther down the line. And they have a little recess on the bottom of that, and that's what this one has. So I believe it's an old school style backwater valve. So we just passed through that. It's a good ways to the alleyway, but we'll go ahead and continue down since the camera fed through there relatively cleanly and see if we can continue down this as far as we can go. We may still need to move down to the ground level to check the rest of it, but we'll see how far we can get with this camera we're on. So again, you can see all original cast iron, but it's in perfectly good condition still. There's just very small little buildup of scale and deposits to this point. A little bit of water here, a little bit heavier than what we'd want to see. So you can see right here, we're starting to get under a little bit thicker. So this is either due to a stoppage, a blockage in the line, or some other heavy debris on the system. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to back up on the pipe right here through this water. So again, until we got to this 70-foot mark, the cast iron really overall looks in good condition, does not require any snaking, hydrojetting, or repair, replacement, or relining at this time. But right here, we're starting to get this damming effect of water that's building up in the system here. So this is what we would either call a sag or a belly to the line if the pipe is basically has improper slope or goes uphill at some point, or it's just due to a blockage in the system, and that can be roots, that can be foreign debris, or even just paper and feces that normally would go down the line. So you can see we're completely blocked here. We're going to see if our camera can push through it. Okay, we got through some of that. You can see we're completely underwater, so something's wrong with the pipe right now. We're traveling almost, now we're past 90 feet. We're still completely underwater. Still moving the camera relatively quickly, and we're going to keep pushing as best as we can, even though we don't have a good view. Here we go. We're kind of coming out of it slightly. Okay, there we go. Now we're into what's called the green bell pipe. So this was replaced by the city's contractors, and this green bell PVC plastic pipe was put in to replace what used to be concrete or clay pipe. And then typically they'll put a clean out box possibly, and then either replace the rest of the line or reline the system. It does look like this is the end of the pipe right here already. It looks like this is the larger. So you can see the water that's running at the bottom of the screen, and we're about to drop and dump into a much larger pipe. So these are all the homes that are to the east of this property here on Turquoise that are draining down the system. So from this roof vent, you can see we're out 108 feet, so minus about 12 to 15 feet for the vertical. So it's a little less than a 100-foot run in its entirety for the horizontal. So we're going to back up on the line here, because now typically when we pull backwards, you can see a little bit of buildup on the top of the pipe right there. Not going to be an issue for drainage purposes, but now that we're not pushing the camera forward, we can typically see a little bit better coming back in reverse as to what's going on with the pipe here. But you can see we still have a little bit of standing water. The agent and I, they're here. We have no water running at this time, so this is just all residual that's kind of in the line, not draining out. And if some of it's slightly moving, it's because the camera and the push rod are actually moving in there. But as we go back forward again, this is the 1-inch camera, so a little over 5/8 of an inch to the top of the camera lens. And so again, you can see until we get to that little mound right there, a foot before it transitions to plastic, we're holding water in the system, unfortunately, and quite heavily. This definitely will lead to faster deterioration of the cast iron pipe, because it's just steel pipe, as well as obviously could lead to just stoppages in the line, because paper, feces, food, any kind of debris that gets in the system is not going to drain out. It's going to settle in this big valley of water that's hanging out. We'll be passing little particulate here and there, I'm sure. There's some toilet paper there, some feces, other little stuff. There's some paper that just rolled out right there. There's some more right there. Now it's getting to be a lot worse here, about 7 feet back in. Now we're completely underwater. The entire camera is completely underwater there. You can see some buildup that's clogged up in the line and even on the top there. So a little bit lower again here. Feces and other stuff just settling in the pipe. So with normal usage and a lot of people using the system, again, we cannot guarantee how often this is going to function normally without having backups on the line. Now typically this whole pipe is completely horizontal, and so where it connects to the plastic greenbelt PVC, there's no depth change of any severity, so it may be very difficult to get any different slope on the line However, either relining the pipe or replacing it with plastic over time would at the bare minimum reduce the friction of things traveling by this pipe to drain out and get through. Still not a guarantee that it won't lead to stoppages, even if you have smooth plastic or relined pipe, but much less of an issue than being rough cast iron with hard edges and little mounds of debris. So you can see we're just completely underwater here. We're pulling out relatively slowly, not to create too many waves. But again, we know for at least another few feet here, we're finally going to come out of it, and there we go, right there. Now, there's a bunch of paper and buildup. Well, look at all that paper and buildup right there. There we go. Lots of buildup right there. So that's exactly what happens when you have a line that has this poor slope. And some more debris there we can see. And again, now we're coming out of this here at this 70-some-odd foot mark. So what we're going to do is slowly push back forward here and see if we see any leaded couplings, because this old school cast iron was leaded together until we get to the water that's standing. And looks like we're already at the standing water. You can see all this paper and debris just staying in the line right there. So we're going to back up a little more, because we're going to go ahead and pause the video to locate this and mark the pipe out so everybody knows where this is at and how deep the pipe is. And then when we push forward about 25 feet from here to where he gets to the plastic, almost I'm certainly in the alleyway or near that, we'll see how much deeper it is. The pipe is required to fall a 1/4 inch per foot and it travels. So for every 4 feet in distance you go down, it should be 1 full inch deeper. A little bit of stuff hanging out there, but not too much. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and leave it right here at this 74-foot mark approximately. We're going to pause and locate where this is at on the property. Okay, so we located where we're at right here with the camera, which is almost, again, the beginning of this area that starts to hold water. So, again, as this sewer line leaves through the backyard to head to the alleyway, there is a clean-out box, and we'll eventually move the camera down to that ground level to show all this. But there is a big grade change with a retaining wall where the garage and the yard is, and it's where this pipe is actually almost 6 feet deep because of the huge amount of grade change from that retaining wall and the change in the height. So we've got this marked with a little bit of green chalk paint where this starts, and when you're standing at that retaining wall looking towards the alleyway along the path of the sewer, it's about 5 feet past the retaining wall into that part of the yard along the side of the garage. So we're now going to push forward again to go through this sag belly that's holding all this water. Again, we're not finding any roots in the line. We're just seeing that, as you can see here, there is just constant standing water. Now, we did notice that in the clean-out box, which we'll show when we move our camera down, there's a bunch of paper and debris that's all inside there that's dried up. So, obviously, this is clogged on the people that reside here over the past years, and they've had to deal with this and had plumbers come out to clear it, or they've cleared it themselves. But definitely been an issue in the past from all the backed up sewage we can see that's dried up in that clean-out box. So again, we're gently pushing our camera, and it is moving through here easily. We're not noticing any type of web of roots or anything else, and it's all liquid water on the bottom. So it basically is just a poorly positioned pipe. There's a little mound of debris right there. That's hard debris. Again, open back up a little bit better here with this sag belly. Going to push all the way out though, because there's still standing water in this, and you can see all the little stuff that's kind of floated and hanging around there. So we get past this 100-foot mark again, basically until we get almost to the plastic again here, and we'll verify that that is completely in the alleyway or if it's somehow at the fence line, because all of this run, so you're looking at about a 30-foot run already So a little over 30 feet here till we get to this point where it transitions. So we're going to go ahead and locate this transition mark, because this is the spot where, again, distance-wise, you'd have to go to either replace the entire line with smooth plastic, or hydrojet it, clean it up, and then spray coat a liner in there, a polyethylene liner, to create a smooth surface, to help it not have as many possible stoppages, because as we continue across, it goes right here, and there's no real big grade change at all, and then we're dumping into the city. So we'll go ahead and pause the video, leave our camera right here at this transition point, and see where we're at in the alleyway. Okay, so we've located this transition from the end of the cast iron to the plastic in the alleyway. It is about a foot into the asphalt alleyway. We've marked it with some green marking chalk paint. It's a little over 8 feet deep, again, because of the height changes, so it's not really much of a diggable area. We're now going to go ahead and pause and move a second camera over to the laundry to go ahead and just inspect the laundry. So we're going to leave this current camera in the drain line, and we'll move over to that stack. Okay, so you can see our other camera there farther down above the bathroom. We've now moved over here to where the laundry vent is. So we're going to go down this pipe here. Let's see, looks like there's a turn on the line already. So this is why we typically can't get down kitchen and laundry vents. Got these angled, which is fine, completely to code when they're trying to pass through things, but it makes it impossible to get our cameras by to check that out. So it is a very short run from the laundry to where it dumps into the main. It's literally only about a 6 to 8 foot run underground. So we don't suspect there's going to be an issue with that. The kitchen is the same thing. It's a little bit farther across. We'll go ahead and show across the rooftop here. There's the little vertical pipe on the top of the screen there on the rooftop there. That's for the kitchen. So it just runs over and across as well. So we're not going to be able to get through those, and that's understandable. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and move down to ground level and show the markings and the clean out access point that's there right now. Okay, so you can see we're here at the back of the house, and we do have this concrete clean out cover box here for the sewer line. As we look down into here, you're going to see this clean out access. This is an old school, it's called backwater valve that we'd mentioned, and you can see all that white paper and debris that is all over the place there, and here's the little steel lid with all that toilet paper and sewage debris that's dried up on there. So they definitely have had stoppages on the sewer main, because it's all coming backed up out of here like it normally would be in the low point and open without a sealed lid. And so you can see our orange-red push rod right there. That's the camera we left in the system right there. It's still pushed all the way out to the alleyway. So as we then come back up, again, it leaves the house, goes to this box, and heads right across to the alleyway. So you can see here, see that can of spray paint we have on the ground right there, the green top. That's about 5 feet past this retaining wall. We've got it marked there. That's the beginning of that sag belly to the line. It's holding all that sewage water and debris, and it runs all the way out into the alleyway. It's that 30-foot distance from there. So we're going to go ahead and pause real quick, and we'll move over to the alleyway just so you can see where that's at. Okay, so you can see here's the garage off the alleyway, and right here underneath this camper top, that's essentially on this edge, the path of the sewer. And you can see right here that green line with the circle and the X. That's the path of the sewer pipe. The pipe is about 8 feet deep here with that circle with the little X in it. That's actually where the cast iron is ending. And then the PVC green bell pipe, the city and they're put in to transition. And as we look farther down up the alleyway, we do have a manhole just off the next property up by the big electrical pole there. And so we know that the line does completely run straight through the alleyway. So again, we don't have any depth changes at the city. It's just a straight horizontal tie-in, so there's no way to make this pipe deeper here for the rest of the way back to create more slope on the pipe to get that to drain out better. So that's why either eventually, if it's ever remodeled, the back to create units, you'd have to dig up the whole line to add a T-junction in any way or part of it. You would just dig it all up to put a new pipe in there that's all plastic. or reline it if it causes a lot of stoppages and complications in the meantime. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video here. Okay, so we moved back up to the rooftop, pulled out our camera for that first bathroom, moved over to the second one because we do just still want to show the vent. We always like to look at the vent pipes because they can deteriorate, crack, have openings, or a lot of flaking, especially near the saltier air in the coast, and that can go ahead and be a blocked vent, or again, even a cracked vent pipe, and if a line backs up, it can flood out of that. So we like to check old cast. You can see some flaking and stuff right there of the pipe, but nothing too severe. And then going across, and here's our tie-in to the bottom. There's the wet water on the bottom for the horizontal. So this vent is okay. So we're going to go ahead and pull back up out of here. Now, one thing we want to mention, we know we couldn't get down through the laundry to inspect that because of the type of piping that's the venting is connected to, which is normal, is that we would recommend, other than if there, I think the home inspector might have noted some slow drains in a shower or tub, you definitely want to snake the laundry line before moving in, more than likely if they're going to snake some other drains in the house, because the laundry is in the middle of the house and you're on slab. So basically if that ever backs up with suds or water, it's going to cause tons of water damage to walls, floors, and personal property. So you want to snake that line out before utilizing it. Additionally, obviously because it's in that closet in the middle of the house, your washing machine really needs to be put onto a plastic catch pan. And in that catch pan, you can go to Home Depot, other places, and buy a simple battery-operated water alarm. So if anything backs up or starts to flood, it'll go off like a loud smoke detector. They even have ones now that are Wi-Fi, can alert your phone on an app. So we recommend that because of the location of this laundry. You really do not want to cause any water or suds damage in the house where it's at. And so everything is now looked at as far as we can on the sewer, of course, all the way. We could not get to the laundry and kitchen because of the type of venting, which is normal. So that concludes the recording for this property.